welcome to my channel. I literally just started YouTube, so this is my first video. It's probably like the most requested video, which is my everyday makeup routine. Nothing special, just what I would do every day if I'm just like going somewhere or whatever. Like nothing special, no crazy eyeshadow, just my everyday what I would do. If you guys want to see how I got this look, please keep on watching. I'm gonna prime with Farsali, and this is the Unicorn Essence. I just picked this up, but I've actually been liking it. It's kind of like tacky. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really know how much to use, but I just kind of dot it all over. Yeah, while you rub it in, it's not like, I thought it was gonna be like oily, but it's not really oily. It's just kind of like, it gets tacky. And my face gets like super red whenever I'm like touching it a lot or like rubbing it. Okay, so I've been like going back and forth between foundations a lot. Like I don't really have one that I just like stay with. So recently I've been using the Wet n Wild. I've been using this for like, since it came out, but I just always end up kind of going back to it every once in a while. Cause like it has really good coverage, but it's not super heavy. Like it's actually a really thin foundation. And then I have the Wet n Wild coconut spray that they just came out with. And I'm just gonna spray my beauty blender with it. Oh, and this is the color Soft Beige. And then I always blend it down my neck because nobody wants like that line. I've been breaking out so bad because like girly things, but it's been starting to clear up a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the Born This Way concealer in the shade Vanilla. And I really love this concealer because it's super full coverage, kind of like the Tarte Shape Tape, but it's not as drying. The Tarte Shape Tape was like drying out my under eyes and like super like, I don't know, just dry under there. So this one's super like hydrating. So I put it right where like the darkness is, and then I run it down the sides of my nose. And then I pull it back. Just like that. Same with the other side. And whenever I'm blending underneath my eyes, I always make sure that I look up. That way it like spreads out the creasing and it gets in the creases. Like if you have any fine lines, it'll get in those. Okay, now that that's blended out, I go in with the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the color 10, which is Fair Light. And I love this powder. I used to use the Laura Mercier and like swear by it, but it actually left like a really weird white cast under my eyes, especially whenever I took pictures and stuff. So I started using this powder and it doesn't do that. And it comes in like a bunch of different colors. That way, if you are darker or lighter than me, you can like pick the color that best suits you. It doesn't just all come in like one super white shade. So I'm gonna make sure all the creases under my eyes are super blended out. And then grab some of that powder. And I go in with the powder. Down. And I only bring the powder up to like this corner of my eye. And then I bring it down. And I kind of do it again. And I like to make this line on the side of my nose super defined. My chin is probably where I get the oiliest. And I'll also notice like a bunch of creasing under my lip and then like on my upper lip. So I have to find this balance between like not setting it too much and then and making sure I set it enough. So some people like to carve out their cheekbones after bronzer. I like to do it before because then it's not so intense. And then while I'm baking, I'm gonna do my brows. So I have been using the NYX brow pencil for like so long. I've probably bought like 60 of these. And I use the shade Ebony. I don't know what their other shades are like because like I have black hair, so black is pretty easy. But yeah, I would go test their other colors if you have like light brown hair and stuff like that and see if the colors work good for you. But these work really well for me. So I brush my brows up. And I roll up my pencil about that much, maybe even more. There's like makeup on my hand. And then I find like the pointiest part of the thing so it's like sharp and I can make a sharp line because I actually don't carve out my brows at the end. So I have to make my lines like perfect and smooth. So I'm gonna start on the brow like this far back, carve out that line, do the top, and then do the front. Once the bottom is done, brush down the top hairs. Brush it up. And then I lightly go underneath the front of the brow, like barely at all. And then comb it up. And then there you go. Now I'm just gonna do the same thing with this brow and then I'll be right back. Okay, now the brows are done. So I'm gonna wipe off my bake and I'm just using like a tapered, like fluffy brush. Okay. And now I like to set where I haven't baked before I bronze, because then I feel like sometimes whenever I'm bronzing, it's kind of like pulling the powder because it's, or my foundation, because it's still wet. So I just take this big fluffy brush from Real Techniques. It's the powder brush. And I'm gonna go in with some Studio Matte Fix powder in the shade NC41. Just grab some of that and stipple, not swipe. It also brings some color back into my face that I've lost from baking. Do my temples. Anywhere that I'm gonna bronze. And then a little owing neck. Okay. Now I bronze, and I used to just bronze, but now I've actually kind of started contouring a little bit. So I'm gonna go in with this Morphe M581 brush, and it's kind of just like tapered, but still fluffy enough to like blend. And I'm gonna grab the Hoola bronzer. Grab just a little bit of that. And just pop it like right in the hollows. It's okay if it's not like super blended because we're still gonna go in and bronze.
And then also do the jawline.
Okay, now we're gonna bronze using the Morphe M527 brush. And it's just kind of like a flatter, fluffy brush. Fits perfectly in my cheeks. And then I'm gonna bronze using the MAC Give Me Sun. And I barely, like I don't like go in with this one, I just like barely swipe and dust off. And this bronzer can be really orangey. So I feel like if you're any lighter than me, maybe don't use it. Maybe just use the Hoola because it is a really cool tone bronzer. Now time to contour the nose, which is my favorite part. So I'm using an M514 brush. It's just like a cute little tiny blender brush. I feel like it's tapered at the end to like get precision, but then it kind of blends too while it's working. So I'm gonna use the Hoola again. Just lightly go in there, dust it off. And I start with like just the tip and then I start bringing it back. Do the same thing with the other side. And then I make sure I get the tip nice and good, makes it look shorter. Now that we have that, don't worry, we're gonna blend later. Like I used to not do this part, but it's made such a difference. Going in here and blending it into your eyebrow. And then connecting that line. And then I also like to take a little bit of bronzer and put it under my lip. Focus it mainly in the middle and then drag under. Okay, so now that it's like looking kind of crazy, I take that same brush that I used to swipe off my baking and I just kind of like soften it. Okay. I used to hate blush on myself. I don't know why. I used to think it like looked so weird on me, but now I'm freaking obsessed with it. So I used to use the Milani Luminoso and I just love the way that one gives like a glow to the skin. Like it looks like a healthy glow, especially after all the powder that I've been doing. But that one has more of like a reddish, like a deep red undertone. So I went and picked up the Wet n Wild Color Icon in, it doesn't say what color. Oh, Keep It Peachy. And I like it. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's like cute, whatever. Just open that up. And I love to do it on the tip of my nose. And then I also swipe it down the front, but mostly on the tip. And then just to kind of tie in everything, I just run it on my forehead, just like a little bit. And maybe on the chin. Okay, now that we look sunburned, I like to go in and do clear brow gel on my brows. I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear. And that's just, I wait till the end because if I do it right when I do my brows, I still do a bunch of powders and I feel like my brows still look powdery. So I just wait till I'm done with all my powders. So I take what's at the front of it and I just kind of like run it on my brows. And then I brush them up. And this step is so crucial. Like if I don't have brow gel, I just don't even feel like myself. Okay. And today I'm not really gonna do anything like super crazy with eyeshadow because I normally don't, and this is just like my everyday makeup routine. So I usually just take like whatever bronzer I use. I'll probably just grab like the Hoola and just like run it in my crease at least because I just need some color on my lids. And then I just take that fluffy brush and just kind of like diffuse it. Make sure I'm clear under there. Okay, so now my next step would be highlighting, but I like to set my face before I do that. Oh my God. I love the Morphe spray, but it's more of like set your makeup to where it lasts all day rather than like melt your makeup into your face. So it depends. If I need my makeup to last like all day, then I would use that one. But for now, like it's nighttime, so I don't really need it to. I'm gonna just use the Wet n Wild because it more like melts my makeup into my face. Which my favorite all time is MAC Fix Plus, but I don't have that right now. Okay, once it's like almost dried, I take my Beauty Blender again and I just kind of like press it into my skin. But make sure when you're doing this step, you don't like swipe at all, otherwise it will literally mess everything up. And then I keep fanning again. Okay. Now that we're sprayed, I go right in with highlight. And I've been using this Fenty Beauty in Hustla Baby. So literally I got this at Sephora, like, you know, like when you go in line and there's like all the minis like that freaking get you every time. Like you're like, oh, I'm just gonna get like a few things, and then you get in line and there's like all the minis and everything looks so cute when it's mini, like, yeah. So I got this little pack with this little tiny Hustla Baby Fenty Glow, and then there was like a tiny Fenty Gloss in it, and it was really cheap. And this has lasted me so long, and the Fenty Gloss lasted me a really long time too. I just lost it, otherwise I would probably still have it. So I definitely recommend like getting these because you don't need the full size. And then I'm gonna use my Morphe 510 for highlight. So I'm like really weird. Every once in a while, like sometimes I do cheek highlight and sometimes I literally just do my nose and then that's it. But I'll just do everything today. So I do there, and then I run it across right here. And then for my nose, I just use my finger, grab a little bit, put it right on the tip, grab some more, and bring it right down here. Grab some, put on my upper lip. Okay. And then lastly is lips. Okay, so NYX has the best liners. Like whether you get the pencils or the crayons, I love both. But I usually like the crayons just because they're easier for me. You can't get as precise, but I just don't have time to like sharpen a pencil every time. This is the color Natural. I also like the color Nude, but that one's a little bit more pinky and this one's a little bit more brown. Okay, once I have them lined, this is the best gloss in the whole world. Like, please go get this. You will literally thank me. So it's the Bare Minerals Gen Nude, and it's in the color Yes. So freaking good. Like, the smell, the look, the taste, the longevity, like it literally lasts forever, and it's just so good. And that is the finished look. This is just like what I would do every day, like if I don't feel like doing a crazy eye or like anything weird. This is just like my everyday makeup tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Just started on YouTube here, so please go subscribe, like everything, like do all the stuff that you're supposed to do, because I need help. Like, I literally need help. And then if you guys could please just like comment any suggestions, like what I should do differently, what you guys like that I did, or like video suggestions that you guys want to see in the future, please comment down below, because I really need help from you guys to know what you guys want to see, since I'm just now starting out. So thank you. Bye.